So to maintain military balance, the cooperation of the Quad countries is very vital to dissuade China's will to invade Taiwan. That is a military part. So we cannot expect India will join, for example, the sending the aircraft carrier, the fighter jet, land forces to protect Taiwan from the eastern side. But even if such kind of situation, if India strengthens the India-China border area, in this case, China needs to share the resources or budget against India, and the same budget, same military assets China cannot use against Taiwan. That's why the cooperation between the two sides makes China the more difficult situation to invade Taiwan.
Hi, you're watching Hindustan Times. I'm Aditi Prasad, and as China gets more aggressive, both in regards to its military posturing and rhetoric, as far as Taiwan is concerned, all the stakeholders, including the West, are wondering how the world can prevent China from taking over Taiwan or invading Taiwan. Now, we are joined today by Dr. Satoru Nagao, a non-resident fellow at the Hudson Institute, USA. He's based out of Tokyo, Japan, and in his recent article, he's highlighted three critical elements needed to keep China in check. He believes that India has a key role to play in preventing a Chinese takeover of Taiwan. Let's start with the military balance that you're talking about. What is the role that you're seeing India playing here?
Okay, it is relatively easy. Why Xi Jinping invade Taiwan? Because he believes he can win. So in this case, military balance is very important. And when we check the pattern of the China's territorial expansion in the other region, indeed there is one feature. When they find the power vacuum, they try to steal it. So in case of Taiwan, if there is a power vacuum, if the military balance has changed, they find the power vacuum, they try to take it. That is the pattern. That is the reason militarily, how to maintain military balance is a matter. But in this case, if India cooperate with the Pacific side country like the US, Australia, and Japan, China need to divide their defense resources or budget and the two sides at the same time, Taiwan side or India-China border side. In this case, it is a little difficult for China, more difficult for China to take the advantage of the military balance, so they cannot find the power vacuum. So to maintain military balance, the cooperation of the Quad countries is very vital to dissuade China's will to invade Taiwan. That is a military part. So we cannot expect India will join, for example, the sending the aircraft carrier, the fighter jet, land forces to protect Taiwan from the eastern side. But even if such kind of situation, if India strengthens the India-China border area, in this case, China needs to share the resources or budget against India, and the same budget, same military assets China cannot use against Taiwan. That's why the cooperation between the two sides makes China the more difficult situation to invade Taiwan.
You mentioned Quad, but Quad is not really a military alliance, is it? As of now, it's not spelled out its role as a military alliance. Do you see it evolving as a military? Do you see the Quad evolving as a military alliance then?
Quad has a military aspect. That's why the Quad repeatedly emphasized this is not military alliance. Because when we check the bilateral cooperation, military cooperation between the India and the US, India and Australia, and India and Japan, it is true that the military cooperation of these countries is progress much. But if India and the other three countries claimed Quad is a military alliance, what happened? China need to fight, and China decide to attack one by one and separate one by one. In this case, which country will be the first target? Of course, India, because the other three countries is very fixed, strong alliances, and these three countries, there is sea border, but there is no land border. But India is different. India shares the land border, and India is not a former ally of the United States. So, view from China, which country is the most easiest country to leave from Quad? First target will be India. So that's why if the Quad emphasize this is a military alliance against China, in this case, China will attack India in the Indian-China border and ask India to leave from Quad. So, view from such kind of the geopolitical situation, what should Quad do? Quad should emphasize this is not a military alliance. This is not an alliance against China. So that's why the cooperation related to the India-China border is bilateral basis, not quadrilateral basis. But when we check the bilateral cooperation, the U.S. armed forces already deployed 100 kilometers from the India-China border and hold joint exercises. Australia and India hold fighter jet exercise together. Of course, U.S. India, I need to add military equipment. U.S. export to India, and India is equipped with the U.S. weapon. Even if more than half of the weapon came from Russia, in the India-China border, there are many American weapons. And in case of Japan, this year is remarkable. January, February, March, all of the 3 months, India armed forces come to Japan and hold joint exercises in all of 3 services. So indeed, the Quad military cooperation has really progressing.